Hello there, thank you again for watching this. This is just a short introduction to a series that I'm thinking of doing on the family and marriage and relationships, because I feel that's a very important topic in our day and in our age. I was reading a verse from the Bible, and it says this in Psalm number 68, God setteth the solitary in families. Indeed, what God has done is he has established social order in society, and one of the things he says that he sets the solitary in families, and family units are very, very important. Now, I know the family is the bedrock of society, and many would dispute that, but we know that as we see families break up and as we see social disorder, there's a strong link between those two things. As we see the lack of consistency in marriage and relationships and care of children, we see social services more and more under pressure to provide what the family should provide. And I was really came to this thought process through the fact that we're now in the year of the Diamond Jubilee. And in the year of Jubilee in the Bible, in Leviticus chapter 25, there are 3 principles that are stated, and they all relate round the care of the family. In verse 10 of that chapter, it talks about the reinstatement of property. In verse 41, it talks about the release from servitude, a type of slavery. Not quite slavery, we would probably say it was a very hard contract of employment. And verses 47 and 54 talks about the repayment of debt. Now, there's a lot of discussion in our society about the repayment of debt, how you deal with countries that have got over subscribed to debt, how people in family units deal with those things. Now, that's very important. But Leviticus 25 is emphasizing the value of the family. When you go right back to Genesis, we find that God created the world, and then he placed Adam in the garden, and then he gave him Eve, and they had children, and the first family unit was created. Now, sadly, that ended in one of those boys murdering the other, and we see there when sin came into the world and death by sin, that we see that through the family destruction begins to work, and that is what's happened down the history of time. But the Bible says God sets the solitary in families because God is interested in the welfare of people. They have social needs, they have economic needs, they have protective needs, they have all sorts of needs. There's another verse that I just want to leave with you as I finish this little introductory video blog. Psalm 107 verse 41 says this: he makes him families like a flock. The idea is of a place where the sheep are kept is a flock, a place where they're protected, a place where they're fed, and a place where they're cared for. And I wonder if your family is that type of a place of care, a place of protection, a place where people feel fed, not just physically, but nourished and cherished, cared for physically, cared for emotionally. Families are wonderful things. God created the family unit for blessing, for the good of men and women, for the preservation of life. And I really believe that is a very, very important principle. And I hope as you watch this short video and maybe get into this series that God would bless you, and that it might be a help to you to see how God has so structured society in family units, in marriage units, between men and women for the glory of God and the preservation of people's lives. Thank you again for watching this video clip.